I feel like so many of the pieces I've done have been important for one reason or another. I created a piece that was a kelp forest, and it was on 5 stories of an apartment building. And so it's like on the ground floor, you'd get in the elevator and you'd see the bottom of the kelp forest. And by the time you got up to the 5th floor, it was the top of the kelp forest, and there was a gradient that went with that. But working with Hughes on that was really wonderful. But then other pieces have had a more profound effect on me personally. I have a piece in the alley that's an antique lathe, and the palette and the subject matter and the overall tone of that piece feels really true to my studio work. And having the opportunity to do something that was really, really from the heart, that had a profound impact on me. That was my first piece in Knoxville, and it felt like I was given the freedom to just be like, hey, you're here, what do you want to do? But then there's pieces like the window project just around the corner here that piece is like me getting to know the city, and this is my new home, and that it's about, you know, the architecture of the city, and I can feel myself back when I first moved here, exploring the city and seeing it in those eyes. I found really just right before I moved here, I'm almost more of a designer now than what I would have considered a true fine artist that I felt like I embodied earlier. When I'm creating pieces for the public realm, I'm thinking about the viewer in a different way, and I'm trying to create something that matches the environment where it's going to live and match the feeling of the city. So a couple of the pieces that I've done since I've been in Knoxville have kind of leaned more towards a natural subject matter. I've done nature, birds, leaves, flowers, those kind of things, and that wasn't a huge element of my subject matter before, but I feel like it fits Eastern Tennessee, so that's had an influence on my style. I used to rent this studio space in a building in Capitol Hill, Seattle, and it was covered in murals. And I would walk by it every day, and they had this list of like a dozen artists on one side that took part in creating this large-scale 2-story mural. And it's like, what? I'm going here to paint. Like, how do I do that? So I started volunteering with that organization, and once I got started, I didn't stop. It was really fun. It turned what was a somewhat solitary and at times really lonely art practice of going to the studio, isolating, working just, you know, in my head, in my own space, by myself, to working on the sidewalk and interacting with anyone and everyone, you know, every 15 minutes, every 10 minutes. And it's been a lot more gratifying. I feel like my art reaches more people, and so it's been a really good transition. You know, when I moved here, I had no expectations of what the Knoxville art scene would be like, and moving here and learning about the Maker City, I think it's really great. I think it's growing. It's been really great working with Dogwood Arts in their mural program and seeing the talent that they're bringing in. It's local and regional. Right now, my focus is on Eastern Tennessee, and just regionally, I want to make an impact where I live. And coming from a larger city to a smaller city and seeing the pool of artists not quite as large as what I experienced back there, like I want to bring what I have to the table where I live. I think that the biggest difference I see is sanctioned versus unsanctioned walls. I think graffiti's awesome. I love sitting at a train stop and seeing, you know, pieces fly by that you don't know where they came from. Maybe someone in Arizona did it, maybe someone in California, and then here it is in Tennessee, you know, getting to see that. I think it's amazing. I think that tagging on top of other people's work that is, you know, obviously commissioned or obviously something that someone spent a lot of time on is, it's disappointing and disheartening, and it's not really the point of public art for me. There are plenty of spaces downtown that look like they've been hit with graffiti and then painted over, and you've got this interesting collection of gray boxes, and that's an opportunity for someone to create something really, really cool that becomes a landmark and a piece of the city that's not an eyesore.